Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Cahill and welcome to my little corner of the writing universe. Today, as you have most probably guessed, we are going to be doing my Plan With Me bullet journal setup for February. Now, January has been a bit of an okay month for me. I say it's okay. It's been a bit of a hit and miss in regards to my writing. I've had my really good days where I've been hitting my standard word count goal of at least 4,000, which is what I wanted to do in January for 120,000 words for some stupid reason. And then we've had, our okay days, which is where I've written 1 or 2,000 words, which is great, it's fun. Then I've had my really bad days where I've just not done any writing at all whatsoever. And then I just try not to feel bad about the fact that I haven't done any work when I need to be doing work. And yeah, doing no work is not inherently a bad thing, but it's getting more and more likely for me to not do work over a long period of time rather than me not doing any work over one day, which is what I would much prefer. But I have a bad circle of getting stressed and then that stress not relieving itself for like 3 days. And then obviously I'm not writing during those 3 days, so I get more stressed because I'm falling behind on my word count and I'm not doing my work, and that just makes everything worse and it keeps me stressed for longer. And it's like, just stop feeling so stressed and do something, please. So that's something I really want to try and work on in February, is trying to write consecutively more often. I want to try and write every single day in February. It's not like an official goal or anything. I'm not going to do that to myself because that'll stress me out even more. But I'm going to do my best to try and write every single day, especially if I am exhausted, especially if I am thinking I feel a little bit of burnout. Even trying to take just 5 minutes and focus for just 5 minutes, which isn't a very long amount of time, on some form of writing, just so I don't have any days with 0 word count. I think that'll sort of help me maintain my momentum in regards to writing. Maybe it will make me write for longer than 5 minutes if I suddenly feel inspired. Who knows? We're going to see how it goes. My quote for February, not that I have monthly quotes, but I thought it was important this month, is to be kind even on your bad days, which is very much, yes, I'm not writing on these days, and yes, I feel down about myself, but be kind to yourself as well. If you're not doing what it is you need to do, if you're not succeeding where you need to succeed, if you're not growing where you think you should be growing, it's not a bad thing to stop and think and to not do any work. And it's not a bad thing to do the self-care when you feel like you need it, even if you have a lot of work to do, because let's face it, the number one rule of writing should be self-care. Because if you as a writer are not at your best, your writing is not going to be at its best, which nobody wants. We stress about the quality of our writing enough as it already is. We don't need to make it worse. We are setting up my goals page now. I like the way that I do these little goals at the moment, where with all little boxes coming off of, the title in the middle. I try to give myself at least 4 goals per month, 4 achievable, attainable goals, which I think is really important. I have in the past given myself such big goals with such a short deadline, and that just served to make me procrastinate for the longest time and then rush right at the very end and do all of the work in like 3 days, which, let's face it, that's not maintainable really, and it's not very healthy to do so. So I've really taken to heart small goals, long deadline. And while a month isn't really a long deadline, the size of the goals I'm giving myself can be easily achievable in a month. And some of them don't really have a set deadline. They don't have a set word count limit. They don't have a set size, if that makes sense, to be done. So the most goals I have, the most focused goals I have, are in regards to writing, which again are very easily attainable for me. For my schedule, because my schedule is all over the place at the moment, it was supposed to be a January goal actually to set myself a schedule. That failed, mostly because we're in lockdown here in the UK at the moment. All 4 kids are at home. We're doing homeschooling, we're doing online learning, and the kids' schedule for online learning changes every single week, and I'm not there to change my schedule every single week to fit around whatever schedule the school gives them. So that was a fail for my goal in January, which let's be honest, that can't be helped. Something else I'm going to be doing this February is my word of the day. I'm very bad with these sorts of things. I had a gratitude page and a brain dump page for January, neither of which I have filled in at all whatsoever. So they're now not January specific, they're just pages in my book. I'm trying to make myself a better person by doing all of this stuff, but I just can't help it. So every single day I'm going to be filling in a word of the day, if I remember to do so, of course, how I'm feeling that day, so I can see a general overview of my feelings and thoughts over that month. And then my goals, of course, small attainable goals. My 2 main writing goals are going to be reaching chapter 15 of my rewrites for Abingdon House. I'm currently on chapter 6, I believe. I've just started it. I'm going to be reaching chapter 4 of Project Floral. I think I'm currently halfway through chapter 1. Again, very attainable goals. My sleep is all over the place. I'm exhausted all the time. So one of my goals is to get to sleep by 11 p.m. or be in bed by 11 o'clock at night. And do yoga 5 times a week, partly for de-stress, partly to actually get some movement and exercise. Read a book. Obviously, one of my main goals for the year is to read 1 book a month. So one of my goals is always going to be read a book. And the last thing I want to do is start putting together a list of agents who I can query to in regards to Project Body Swap. Now, I have applied to Author Mentor Match this year, which I'm very, very excited about. I've done that with Project Body Swap. I don't have high hopes for it at all. It's more of a learning experience for me in regards to formatting a manuscript, sorting out queries and synopsises and things like that, which is obviously something else I'm going to be working on. But my plan, my hope is to start officially querying Project Body Swap March or April, at least by April. So the first thing I need to do is gather a list of agents who are looking for submissions, who are open, who I can potentially submit to in my first real step of hitting into the query trenches. My weekly setup is so simple. But have you ever done something that you thought in your head was going to look really nice, but it does not look so nice on paper? This is my weekly spread right now. I thought this would look better than it actually ended up looking. I think maybe because the outside lines aren't as thick as I imagined them in my head. I can't handwrite to save my life because it really kills my wrist. So we've got a simple Monday to Sunday setup. There's not a lot of space for any of the days because I don't do a lot of things to warrant a bigger space. And if I left a bigger space, I would look like I'm not doing any work at all whatsoever because there'd just be too much blankness. I'm going back now to my February title page because I completely forgot to add the washi tape that I wanted to add just as a little bit of a decoration. I'm trying to go minimalistic this year. First of all, so it doesn't take me so long to set up my bullet journal. Second of all, I don't know. It looks nicer, I guess. It's something easy for me to do. It doesn't have me going, oh, that didn't look as good as I wanted it to, if I'm including doodles or pictures or really extravagant setups. Sometimes I just don't have the energy or the motivation to fully do a setup. So if I make it as simple as I possibly can, one, I haven't wasted a lot of time doing it to then not do it. Do you like my washi tape collection? I've got so many, I don't use them at all whatsoever that much. I'm going to add some here at the top of the pages just to make it a little bit more space filled, just to make it a little bit more colourful. If you couldn't tell, the theme is purple. Purple is my theme for February. I don't know why. I just like the colour purple. So yeah, I'm trying to make it as minimalistic as possible, so I don't feel like I've put all my effort into setting up the bullet journal for me to inevitably at some point during the year just stop using it instead of using it every single day. We were okay in January. The majority of the time in January I did actually use it day by day. Who's to say if I actually did the tasks I needed to do on certain days? I know I said I need to beta read 3 chapters on Wednesday, and then Wednesday I just didn't have the energy or the motivation to do anything, so I didn't do it. But the important thing is that I planned to do it and I wrote it down in my bullet journal instead of just leaving the pages completely and utterly entirely blank, which is what I usually do. Now, we're going to get to the exciting part of my bullet journal now. I say exciting part. This is my new progress tracker. I say progress tracker. It's not quite a It's not quite a progress tracker. I do have a couple of them in my bullet journal. This is to help more with my progress of my specific goals for February and making sure that I am actually doing them, making sure that I don't lose track of what it is that I need to do. How well this is going to work out, I don't actually know, because it requires post-it notes, and everyone knows most post-it notes don't have much stickiness to them anymore, and you stick them on a page and they will immediately peel themselves off because they suck and they don't have stick, and it's really very annoying that I can never find any decent post-it notes. Anyway, this is, are you ready for it, my February specific, so excited to do for writing, mini ban board. Don't ask why I call it my mini ban board. It's basically a mini Kanban board, specifically just for February. Like, I could have an actual Kanban board. You know, I do have one on Trello. I think I don't use it very often. I should use it more often. I keep forgetting to check it, and then, you know, like once every 14 days I'll be like, oh right, I have a Kanban board on Trello. So I'll go over to it and just do all the stuff that I need to do and be like, whoopsie daisy. But hopefully having this in my bullet journal in February will sort of help me keep track of what I have done, what I have not done in regard to all of my goals. Obviously this is simply rewriting chapters for Abingdon House and chapters for Project Floral. This is writing specific that I am going to do. Obviously we have the purple there as well. We have a cute little cat there. Can't have a bullet journal spread really at least 1 month without a cat, because hey, we love cats. So this is how it's going to work. So we've got our little post-it notes. They're in the shape of cat paws, hence the cat theme. And basically this is how, I don't know how well it's going to work because I'll need lots of these to stick on the page and it won't work very well, but we'll need to do chapter 7 under planning, and then I'll move it over to doing when I'm doing it, and I'll move it over to done when I have finished it. So I might put a date on there as well for when I'm done with my work. We'll see how it goes, but hopefully by the end of the month all of the post-it notes will be glued, I suppose, because they would have lost their stickiness by the end of it. We all know that. In done, so I am done. And finally we have the quote page for February. This is something that I want to do as well every single month. It's not a quote related to February, it's not a quote for February, it's just a fun quote about writing that I found that I enjoyed. And doing these quote pages I actually find really fun and relaxing. It's so frustrating to set them up though. I think I rubbed out all of these lines at least 6 times each in order to get them the right length, in order to make sure they were centered, in order to make sure they looked okay and, you know, didn't look like rubbish handwriting, because once you get there with the pen, you can't change what you're doing. So yeah. One of my favourite things to do if I'm feeling down or if I'm just not in the mood to do anything else is actually just scroll through Pinterest and read quotes Quotes about writing, quotes about positivity, about productivity, about motivation. So it sort of validates all of the things that I have in my head about the writing process, about taking things slowly, about doing things the way that I like to do them. Because obviously in the writing community you have a lot of differing opinions, you have a lot of arguments sometimes about the way you should do things, what you should do, what you should not do. And yeah, hearing another writer, or seeing another writer, I should say, or an author, sort of like say the same things that I spout off as well, it's like, yeah, this author gets it. This author knows what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. My way is fantastic. You know, obviously everyone's opinions and thoughts about writing are valid. I'm not saying they're not, but it's just nice to know that there are other people who actually do think the way that I do and believe in writing the way that I believe in writing, if you sort of know what I mean. This quote is actually not even a quote at all. It's not a quote in the way that a writer stood up and said this and someone wrote it down to quote what they were saying. This was originally a tweet. Yes, you heard that correctly. It was originally a tweet. It was by one of my favourite people that I follow on Twitter, back when I went on Twitter regularly, who always has the absolute most best relatable tweets in regards to writing whatsoever. It says, in order to be a writer, one must 1. Love writing so deeply. 2. Also complain bitterly about it actually all of the time. C.G. Lewis, aka @PaperFury over on Twitter. Seriously, go and check them out. Their tweets are amazing. So there we are. That is my February setup for my bullet journal, including my goals and my fun new writer tracker. Let me know down in the comments below, what are your goals for February, and do you have any favourite quotes? Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Good thoughts and happy writing.